All right, I got us recording. So, you know,
Have
I
you
feel
got
like I
those?
always open with the talk of the weather,
Want me
but
to take you out, leave you there?
ma'am.
I'm talking to my dog.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, if the dog starts talking back, that's when I really want to make sure I'm listening.
Well, he'll whine.
Well, I feel like I always open with weather talk, and I guess that's just the way it is because I'm so highly affected by weather. So when it's cold, I'm just sad and just I don't feel good. I don't like cold weather. When it's rainy, you know, kind of the same. I want to be at home. But when it's sunshiny, oh, I feel alive. I feel so good. And you see, my window is full of sunshine. I see sunshine in y'all's houses. So it looks like sunshine is everywhere today. And I'm just happy. And look, I even wore my jacket that has sunshine. Y'all see it? So I love it so much that I don't even want to take it off, even if I am a little bit warm. It's just so pretty and happy. That's just where I like to be, in the sunshine.
You're gonna have to get us all a vest like that.
Isn't that pretty? My husband got me this for Christmas, and when I opened it, I started crying. And they're like, "Oh no, what's wrong?" I said, "It's just so perfect." I mean, you couldn't have made a more perfect vest. It's just pretty. Anyway, I need to wear it on days that aren't sunshiny. Then I'll bring the sunshine. But I chose to wear it today because I was so
Sure
happy.
did it yesterday, Dan.
Oh, yesterday was miserable, and I had to drive it. And it's just it's scary to drive in the rain because you worry about hydroplaning. You worry about, I don't know why vehicles still drive 70 miles an hour because I'm driving like 40 with my flashers on, you know, two hands, terrified. I'll talk about this. My neck is a little bit sore, and I think it's from driving yesterday, holding my body real tense.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm saying, like, I talk about weather because I'm just greatly affected by it in so many ways. So anyway, we will get started. We're nice and walking around, getting ourselves nice and warm to prepare our bodies for exercise. It reduces our chance of injury when we work with warm muscles. Somebody was talking about a hot yoga class. I don't teach it. I've never been to one. But they were talking about hot yoga, how they put it like, I don't know, 95 degrees or 98 degrees in the class. And then they do a lot of like muscle stretching. Y'all may have been to it. I've never been to it. But
you may like it because you like the heat.
I love the heat. I love the heat. So, but they said because of your it's such a warm environment, your body stretches better, and you have a better experience with the yoga stretches because of it. And I just think my mind always comes back to Tai Chi class and the things we learn in Tai Chi. And that was what I thought, hey, that's what we're doing when we warm up our bodies. I mean, we're not, that's why I bring that heater in the class, in my little conference room, and I heat up the environment. You know, it's just my body works better whenever it's warm. All right, so I think we're nice and ready. We're going to work on all our basic 6 today and get comfortable with that, and hopefully be moving towards our advanced 6 if we feel comfortable. So starting with our warm-ups, remember we get in our nice stable stance where our feet are shoulder width apart. We're spread apart enough we feel stable. There's a soft bend in our knee. We have really good posture. It's like a string that pulls up and down. Our shoulders are relaxed. We're not holding any tension, just holding our bodies. Upright. That's our principle. Upright posture. even in our warm-ups. So beginning with our neck, we bring our hands up, palms down towards our chin and chest, push away from our bodies and follow those hands all the way down, feeling the slight stretch in the back of your neck. Come back up. Don't forget to breathe. Breathe at your own pace. Just try not to hold your breath. That's the main thing. And we have a habit of doing that when we're busy doing something. Our other neck stretch starts out the same way. We drop one hand to our hip and follow the other hand as we look towards that shoulder. Come back to the front and switch. Side to side. The more you do this movement, the more flexible your neck will be. Hopefully help you get rid of some of that tension that you hold on to. I'll probably experience it more when I drive than anything, but we can't be all loosey-goosey, relaxed when we're driving. We have to kind of sit up at attention. So those two are for our neck. And, the hand movements that we do with those, excuse me, we can think in terms of, okay, pull, push, that using those types of words lends itself to us experiencing gentle resistance. Do we have to pull and push in order to warm up, stretch our neck? No, but that's just a place that we can incorporate one of our principles by thinking those words along with that movement, pushing and pulling, and it engages more muscles. With, this right here, the hands just feel like Tai Chi, right? With this movement right here reminds me of when we do single whip, where we do this. So see, our neck does the same thing. Our hands are just a little bit different, but the movement for our neck is intended to stretch those muscles. And you've probably been in another exercise program where you've been told to take your chin to your chest. There was no instruction for hands. You've probably been told to look left or look right. And you may even been told to take your ear towards your shoulder and let gravity lay your head over. And that stretches another part of your neck. We don't do that stretch in Tai Chi, but those movements are intended to stretch your neck. And so by adding the hand movements, we make a neck stretch Tai Chi. Next is for our shoulders. We have our hands to our sides, or the sides of our legs, and we're going to draw little circles about the size of a quarter as we roll forward first, and then we're going to roll back second. And rolling to the back second helps reset posture. So if you're ever in a way where you've kind of lost track of your posture, you've been sitting in a comfy chair and just let your body get out of sorts, if you'll stand up and roll forward first and then roll back second, then you can get yourself back in an upright posture. Next is our shoulder circle, where we bring our hands up, palms up, and then we turn and push down. You hear that word? Push. That lends itself to gentle resistance. As we push down, we pull up and push down. Do you have to use those words? No. just go in that circular motion, and that helps warm up that joint, elbows and shoulders. It's also a good time to breathe. Inhale as you come up and exhale as you come down. Now, I want you to notice that we don't go any higher than our shoulders. For instance, we don't go up here. We come up to about shoulder height. We turn our hands and push our hands down. So whenever we go up, you start feeling tension in your shoulder. And of course, we're not trying to have any tension. So just keep in mind that it's about shoulder height. You turn your hands and push them down in front of you.
Are your knees locked or they have a
My
little
knees
bend?
typically always have a soft bend. So it, you can probably see, okay, so I have a soft bend now. If I were to lock my knees and stand up straight, it would look like this. So see how small that bend is? Slight bend in those knees. So I'm not squatted down. I mean, that would not feel good to do Tai Chi squatted down. That's a whole different style of Tai Chi. What we do is called Sun style, and it has a higher stance. And Sun style is spelled S-U-N. My favorite, the sun. Sun style Tai Chi has a higher stance, but it's the softness in our knees, and that is called a song joint, S-O-N-G, an open joint that allows energy to flow. So we do the same thing with our elbows throughout our movements. You know, when we, anytime we extend our arms, we don't lock and go out like Frankenstein. There's still a softness in the bend of our arms. Even when we do our spinal stretch, we keep a soft bend in our arms. Typically, our elbows and our knees are the two joints that we will lock. But we also think about our armpits in being an open joint. And the way we keep that joint open is just I think of it as leaving a little bit of room for our pits to get some air. And so when let me take off this jacket, you can probably see it better. So when we do like open and close, so you see my armpits have some air, my hands are here, versus if my armpits were closed, they'd be here. So not this. So give your armpits some room to air, your elbows, keep a soft bend there, and then in your knees too. That was a really long answer to are your knees bent, wasn't it? But it was a perfect opportunity to talk about our stance in Tai Chi. There's a softness to it. We hold our whole body soft. Like, you know, even our fingers are soft. So we never like tighten our fingers out like that. Even when they're open, they're not open. You know, they're not rigid. Nothing about our bodies is rigid, even though we're in an upright posture. All right, so that we did our shoulders. Now for our spine. So we have our ball. Again, opportunity to let our armpits breathe. And then when we bring one hand up, we're pushing down and up at the same time. That stretches our spine. And you see the soft bend in the elbows. So this is about our back, not our arms. So I know we've all done that stretch when we get out of bed in the morning and we're like, oh, that just feels so good. You can feel your arms stretch, your spine stretch. I heard my back just pop. But that, you know, we've all done that probably where we've extended those arms out. This is to isolate the stretch of our spine vertically. So when we push down and up, it's to stretch our spine up and down. And there's kind of a learning curve to it, to not stretch our arms, but to bring that stretch to our spine. You could probably feel it all the way up your neck because our neck goes to the base of our head. Back to our ball and switch. So the other hand pushes up and down. Well, one arm, We just switch. The other arm goes up, that was down, and vice versa. And you may not be able to put your hand directly above your head. You might not have that mobility in your shoulder. So do wherever you can to stretch your spine. Because even having my hand out beside me, I can stretch my spine from there. But here stretches it even more vertically. When I think about that ball, bringing this hand up, I follow my spine. And then when I get to the top of my head, that's when I turn it over and push. And that just goes with that smoothness of our Tai Chi move and mindfulness about what we're doing. So I'm keeping that spine in mind as I stretch the spine. In terms of breathing, I like to inhale as I come to my ball and exhale as I separate. And I feel like separating on the exhale really helps me extend that stretch. All right, our spine should be good and stretched vertically. Now let's stretch them horizontally. We have our ball again. We take just a small turn of our torso, and that ball's above our knee. Switch our hands and come back across. So it's a short ride from side to side. We stay within our frame. We don't go as far as we can go, because if we start going way over here, even if you're able to, you can feel your spine stretching a little bit. It may hurt your spine. I also feel this leg pulling, that knee pulling as I try to go too far, and it hurts my knee. So it's not necessary. It's not going to do anything more for you. So stay within your frame, which is just like if you went to Michael's and got a picture frame built just perfect for your size of body. We stay within that frame, stay within that frame. This movement right here is just like our waving hands in clouds movement. It's the movement of the torso, and our hands change on the sides. We'll get to that and practice more of it today. All right, for our lower body. So now we're moving towards our hips. And you know, when we get to our hips and knees and even our ankles, we're going to do some weight shifting to where one leg will hold our weight for a while. When we do that, it helps that leg and muscle be strong enough to hold us, and what helps us be more balanced and less likely to fall. So the research is the research proves that the more able we are to hold our weight on one leg, the less likely we are to fall. And that's what we do all throughout Tai Chi. We shift our weight to one leg, and we're going to do something with that other leg the whole time. This leg is holding, and that's how it gets strong and more able. So we practice that even in our warm-ups. So we shift our weight to one leg, we place our heel forward and our hands back, pause in the middle, and then our toe goes back at an angle like a kickstand with our hands up. Now notice my hands stayed below my shoulders. I didn't go above those shoulders. Here and keeping our bodies upright, even with that leg swing. It's a tendency to want to lean. Back to center. Now let's shift the weight to the other leg. Heel forward, hands back. Pause, and toe back, hands forward. Our goal is 3 per leg. And anytime I go past 3, my legs start screaming at me, asking if we're almost done. Now let's shift our weight side to side, and we stack our hands like this, and we push in the direction of the weight shift. Keeping, again, our bodies upright. Remember, we're staying in our frame. Once we shift that weight, we lift and tap that foot. Bring it back, switch our hands, shift, lift and tap, bring it back, shift, lift and tap, bring it back. Still that soft bend in our knees. That soft bend allows us to absorb any kind of impact that we get, but it also slightly lowers our center of gravity, which the lower our center of gravity is, the less likely we are to fall. That's why you see surfers and wrestlers squat down. They're less likely to fall when their center of gravity is lowered. There's probably other people who do that too. Tai Chi people do it with the having the fight that they're never going to have. Next is for our knees. We have our loose fists down by my hips, checking and make sure there's no tension in my shoulders. I shift, lift, tap and punch. Bring it back, shift, lift, tap and punch. You're in control of how high you tap that foot in the air. Of course, the higher you tap it, the more challenging it's going to be for your balance. And I encourage you to test yourself in a safe way. Have a table or chair or a wall nearby, just in case you lose balance. You can hold on to that chair and skip the punch if you want to just give it a try. How high you can lift that foot. We always want to stay in our comfort zone, but we grow when we step outside of our comfort zone, but we don't want to push it too much. All right, next we're going to step out, small step, shift, weight to this front leg, both feet are flat on the floor. Bring that weight back, feet side by side. Shift, step, shift and punch, bring it back, side by side. Play around with your foot placement. You may like your feet a little bit closer together so you don't have to lock that back leg as you shift the weight forward. You may like it a little bit wider as you shift the weight forward. Play around with some foot placement and see what just feels the best for you. And that'll be different for everybody. I think part of it is how long our legs are, is how comfortable we are with different spaces between our steps. Don't forget to breathe. I just caught myself holding my breath. But I like this shift to the side, shift to the front, shift to the back. Oh, Crystal must have accidentally got put out. All right, you're back, Crystal. All right, so those are for our knees. Next is for our ankles. There's no hand movement, but we do shift the weight and rock that foot heel toe. Heel toe. Bring the foot back, shift the weight and heel toe the other foot. Bring that foot back. Shift the weight, and now go big toe, little toe, or side to side. The mobility of your ankle joint will be different from person to person, and the more you work this joint, the more flexible it will be. Some people have fused bones and they can't do this exercise. So anytime you cannot physically do something, that's an opportunity to visualize yourself doing it. And there's something like really crazy about our brain, how visualization can help us get to actually doing it. Is that always true? No, because the reason why we're unable to do something may be something that's permanent. You know, I think about someone who has something severed and they can't walk. They're what's that called when people can't walk? Paralyzed. They're paralyzed. But then you hear about people who are told they'll never walk again, but then they're determined. And so sometimes that visualization can help you get somewhere that you might not even thought you could. All right, so those are our warm-ups. Any questions about any of those? We have those 2 for our neck, 2 for our shoulders, 2 for our spine, our hips, knees, and ankles. And we do them every time. As long as you follow principles while you're doing the warm-ups, you can get all the benefits from Tai Chi just in the warm-ups. So our Tai Chi movements Tai Chi is a series of movements that are done in a certain order. And so we learn them in that order, we practice them in that order. When it comes to our warm-ups, it doesn't matter if you did right first and then left. It doesn't matter if you're doing the exact same thing I'm doing, because you're going to do the other next. But in our Tai Chi series of movements, it matters. It matters a little bit less when we're on virtual because you're in a room by yourself. If we were in a room with other people, then good. Jackie says the warm-up really help her. I mean, these are warm-ups you could do every day just to warm you up to get ready for the day, because you're going to use all your major joints. But when you're in a group of people, of course, you want to all be going the same direction at the same time. And so in our Tai Chi on virtual, you're at home by yourself. And so I don't want you to get caught up so much in if you're shifting to the right, or if you're going to the left first, or I don't want you to get so caught up in that, because I know me teaching facing you can be confusing. Some people see me differently. When I move my left hand, you may see left, and when I move my left hand, you may see that this is my right. So if I tell you to move this hand, then you may automatically mirror image me, or you may automatically turn me around and know that this is my left hand. So our brains are all different. So you just do the best that you can with that. Whatever direction you go first, you're fixing to go to the next direction. So it's really not that big of a deal. The only movement that we do that we don't repeat, or what we call that is being balanced, is commencement. So commencement is where we shift right. It's where we take a step forward. Our very first move, we shift right, we step forward left, we shift left, and we bring that right foot forward. So the footwork is a step forward that steps first with that left foot, and then we bring the right foot to follow. The hands of commencement, our hands face each other the whole time. Remember, there's an opportunity to use our wrists. You don't have to move this way you don't have to move to this extent. So when you bring your hands up, see how my fingers are pointed down? And then when I bring my hands down, my fingers are pointed up. And so that gives me an opportunity to work this wrist joint. If any of y'all have arthritis, we know we can get arthritis in our wrist, our fingers. These are some of our most used joints, and arthritis is wear and tear. And so when we use those muscles, work on the mobility of our joints, then that can help relieve some of that. So that's a way to use those wrists to go up and down. Here we go out, and then we bring them back in. So there's a few opportunities to move those wrists. You don't have to do that. You can simply come up, down, Draw the U, out, and back in. Now you do have to end with your fingers up because our second move is open and close. So that whole first movement of commencement, the hands face each other that whole time. As a reminder, see, I'm extended, but I'm not Frankenstein, right? So I still have that soft bend in my elbow, even when I'm extended. In the beginning, when I come out extended, and then at the end, when I go out and back in, I never lock my joints. What I want you to start feeling is the connection between the weight shift and the hand movement. And so in commencement, there's two opportunities where when I come up, nothing's happening with my legs, but when I come down with my hands, that's when I shift the weight to that right leg. So up and down, shift the weight. I just want you to experience how it feels for your hands to come down and the weight to go down on this one leg. Find that connection. Feel that connection. All right, so once we shift all the weight, that's when we step. Finish the hand movement. Here's another opportunity. Weight shift and hand movement. So I shift left as my hands go out. So see, my weight went forward because my foot is in the front, and my hands went forward. So there's that connection. It was hands down, weight down. Now it's hands forward, weight forward. Still holding that upright posture. So two opportunities to experience weight shift with hand movement. If you really start connecting hand to weight shift or hand movement to weight shift, then when we get to our advanced 6, you're going to have an easier time because throughout that whole series of movements, we are shifting and moving our hands, shifting and moving our hands, shifting. That whole movement is shifting and moving hands in connection at the same time. So this is just going to make it easier for you later. So let's do the first two movements, commencement, open, and close. And commence. Hands come up, down, shift right. Step left, hands come in and up. Shift left as the hands go out, right foot forward, hands come back. And now I have weight on both legs. So when I brought those hands back, I'm evened out the weight. It went from this leg to now both my legs have weight. And again, commence, up, down, shift right, step left, hands come in and up, shift left as they go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Couple more times. Commence, down, shift right, shift, and open, close. One more time without talking. Commence. Close. So are you feeling that? The weight shift with the hands, the weight shift with the hands. I like to add a little gentle resistance. So when I bring my hands down, it's like I'm pushing them down, pushing away from me, just adding that little bit of gentle resistance with that movement. Again, do you have to? No, you can simply just come down and shift the weight. You don't have to push out. You can just place those hands out as you shift the weight. Single whip. So we do single whip and wave hands in clouds to the right. We have an open and close in the middle, and then we single whip and wave hands in clouds to the left and end with an open and close. So those are our basic 6. Single whip. Make sure I'm not too close to the wall. I shift left. I step out right. And when I step out right, anytime in Tai Chi is an empty step. I don't immediately give it weight. Then I give it weight. So now I have weight on both legs. Time for my hands to do something. I push them out away from me, turn my palms and separate, and my head follows that left hand. But I didn't forget to open up that right hand. That's our single whip. Coming from open and close, shift left, step right, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, following that left hand. So when we did our neck stretch in the beginning, when we followed that hand as we looked over to our shoulder, this feels the same, right? Here, see, I'm looking towards my shoulder. It's just my hand's different. But you feel that same stretch in your neck. So our warm-up stretches prepare us to do our Tai Chi. And so this is that, you know that matching game where you find like the purple fish and you match them? It's kind of like that. The neck stretch, our second neck stretch, and our single whip. They're the matching pair for the stretch in that neck. So again, from open and close, we shift left, step right, adjust weight, push our hands out, turn our palms away from us, separate, eyes following the left hand. The transition move is to bring my right hand and my right foot back. There. So that's the transition move before we go into waving hands and clouds. Let's do it up to that point from the top, coming from commencement. Hands come up, down, step, shift, open, close, single whip, shift, step, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Transition move, shift left, right foot, right hand back. That's not a very stable stance. When I pull that right hand down and that right foot in, we don't want to be there for very long. And we're not, but as we're learning, it feels like we're here for like, okay, what's next? What's next? Well, what's next is right here. Step and switch, turn and shift, okay? And you can do one at a time. You can step, then switch your hands, then turn, then shift, shift, step, switch my hands, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift. Okay, so those are the 4 parts of waving hands and clouds. Remember, we do 6 steps. Starting with our feet, we go step, out, shift, step. That's 2. Shift, step. There's 3. Shift, step. There's 4. Shift, step. That's 5. Shift, step. There's 6. So it's a step and a follow step. So you might think of it as 3, but it's more helpful for me to think of it as 6. But whatever works for you. But it's walking sideways Tai Chi style. And Tai Chi style means slow. Step. Then shift the weight. Step. So when I step, it's empty. I do not immediately give it weight. Then I do. Step, empty. Then give it weight. Step, empty. Then give it weight. Step. Shift, step. That very last one you can shift. I don't. I just end up giving it a little bit of weight as I come to the front, because when I come to open and close, weight goes to both of my feet. Either which way you get there, as long as when you come to open and close, you have weight on both legs, and that comes after your 6 steps or your 3. So it's step out, shift, step, shift, step. I'm walking to the right, shift, step, shift, step, shift, step, shift. I think I may have done extra. I wasn't counting. I was thinking, I don't know what I was thinking about. Okay, so that's our feet. Our hands, here's the other matching set. When we did our spinal warm up, we had our ball and we turned our torso side to side. The turn part of this move, with our hands switched and then it's ready to turn, it's the same movement. Turn, switch, turn, switch. I think it looks like a robot. Let me get closer. Turn, switch. You know the people who do like breakdancey type moves, and they do like the I'm not a dancer, but you know, I hope y'all know what I'm talking about. But it's very robotic here. I'm gonna have to look it up on YouTube and show y'all one time what I'm talking about. But it's switch, turn, switch, turn, switch, turn. That's the upper body movement of our waving hands and clouds. Notice, same movement, just different hands. Switch, turn, switch, turn. So that's our spinal warm up, and that gets us ready for our waving hands and clouds. Switch, turn, switch, turn. So our hand comes down just like it's banging a drum, and then it comes up. I think of it as a sash, cross body, and then turn yourself open, switch, turn, switch. Feet and hands together. When you step out right, you're going to turn to the right. When you step left, you turn to the left. Shift, step right, turn right. Step left, turn left. Step right, turn right. Step left, turn left. So there's that rhythm of it. So we're coming out waving hands in clouds a couple different ways. Essentially, it's 4 things. We ended our single whip. Here, we're ready for waving hands in clouds. We step and switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step and 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 switch, turn, and then come to the middle for open and close. All right, let's put that together from the top. And commence. Open, close. Single whip, shift, step, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Transition, shift, right foot, right hand back, waving hands in clouds. Step and switch, turn, shift. Step and switch, turn, shift, 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 step and switch, turn to the middle for open and close. Now we single whip and wave hands and clouds to the left. So we just finished our open, close. All right, single whip. This time we shift right, step out left, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, following that right hand, shift right, bring that left foot back, waving hands and clouds, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift, step, switch, turn, shift. Last time, step, switch, turn, and to the middle for open and close. Close it out. So that's our basic 6. That's what we really want to practice, really want to get better at, so that we can move and start learning our advanced 6. Okay, so here we go. Let's go through it several times. And commence. Hands come up, down, shift right. Step left, hands come in and up. Shift left as they go out, right foot forward, hands come back, open and close. Single whip, shift left, step right, just wait. Push, turn, separate, following that left hand. Shift left, bring that right foot, right hand back, waving hands and clouds. Step and switch, turn, shift. Step and switch, turn, shift. Step and switch, turn, shift, step and switch, turn, shift, step and switch, turn, shift, step and switch, turn, and open and close. Single whip, shift, step, adjust weight. Push, turn, separate, following that right hand. Shift right, bring that left foot, left hand back, waving hands and clouds. Step and switch, turn, shift, 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 step and switch, turn, and to the middle, open, close. All right, we're going to do it again. This time I'm not going to say all the pieces and parts. I'm just going to call out the name of the movement. And of course, I'm going to be here. I'm not going to just stand here and watch y'all. That would be so mean. But this is a way to test yourself. What do I know and how much am I relying on her words? There's nothing wrong with relying on my words. It's how we learn, but it's nice to kind of test ourselves. So let's start at the beginning and commence. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands and clouds. Open, close. Single whip. Waving hands in clouds. And close. Did you pass your test?
I don't think I did.
That's all right. I mean, there's no report card. Nobody's going to call your mom or daddy and have a conference.
Thank goodness for that.
We just
Yep.
like to, just to see if we get it. I know sometimes somebody's there telling us exactly what to do. We're like, oh yeah, we got this. And then it's like, okay, do it. And you're like, I don't even know what's first. But that's why I'm here. That's why you come to class, is because you have a teacher that's here to help you.
And it helps to relax you too. It
Mhm.
relaxes me.
To be able to have it without words gives you the opportunity to experience Jing, which is spelled Jing, and that is mental quietness. And it's hard to have mental quietness with somebody talking the whole time. And so, that's a lot of different moves to remember. It's a lot of different, doing them all in an order. It's a lot of pressure to remember all of those things. So if you want to experience mental quietness or Jing without all the noise and worry that goes with all the movements, pick something. I mean, even if it's just open and close, even if you're seated, just breathing in and out, and, thinking about pull and push as you breathe. That's relaxing. Or maybe you want a little bit more than just that open and close. So go with the shoulder circle, which is outside of our Tai Chi. It's in our warm-ups, but inhaling and exhaling. So that's a little bit more movement, and you might like that a little bit better as you pull up and push down and breathe, inhale and exhale. So see, you can experience mental quietness, but not have to worry about doing all of it. Even the movement of waving hands in clouds, that's another one, where you just do the hand movements. Engaging the core as you go side to side, letting that core push you from side to side, and breathing as you just do this nice soft movement. What did you notice? I did 3 different movements that had no leg movements, right? And so that simplified it for you to experience that relaxing. Tai Chi is often called meditation and movement. And once you learn the pieces and parts of each movement, then you can do these movements and experience what you experience by just breaking it down and only doing those movements I just went through. Once you learn and you're more comfortable with the movements. So practice when you can to get to know your movements. Let's go through it one more time and then we'll cool down. We got about 2 minutes. All right, here we go. And I'll do it completely quiet. I won't even say what the movements are. And if you get lost and don't know where we are, just sit here and do one of those open and close or the big shoulder circle. just to keep going with that mental quietness. All right, here we go. And commence. There you go. I see y'all working. I see y'all doing it. All right, let's give ourselves a nice fist massage, telling our legs thank you for working so hard as we shift weight and have one leg holding all of our weight for just a little bit. That's a lot of work, and we're grateful that our legs are here for us. All right. Purposely tense our muscles. We know we don't want to live this way. It can cause us pain. We let it go. That feels so much better. Intentionally tense up and let it go. Tense and release. One more time. Tense and release. Now big shoulder circle. We take our right fist, and that represents our strength. Our left fingers together represents our friendship. Our thumb in our humility. So strength, friendship, and humility. And in mutual respect, we say namaste.
Namaste.
So thank y'all very much for joining me today. Great job.
Feel better too.
We'll work on this next week, and we'll probably start being introduced to our advanced movements. This is, let's see, this is week 6. So we have 10 more weeks to do more exploring. Nora, is that a woman on your shirt with sunglasses and a big
Yeah,
hat?
it's actually a picture of a woman. Yeah.
I love her. She's cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, y'all. Well, I will see you next week, but y'all let me know if you need me in the meantime, okay?
Thank you.
Okay,
All right,
thank
you're
you.
welcome. Love y'all.
Love you too.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.